Hello and welcome back, everybody. Today I have a bit of a discussion video that I would like to talk about a topic that we kind of went over in a recent live stream. So what we were trying to do in these live streams is that I was trying to take the worst build that I could think of for each weapon on each class and another worst build that I could take on another weapon. Something that hopefully didn't really complement one another. So if I had something that was really bad at crowd control, maybe the secondary would be at least decent at it, and vice versa. And I came to some kind of interesting conclusions. We did this about 8 months ago or so. I don't remember when the last one was, when we talked about bad builds or the worst builds in Deep Rock. And I was just trying to make the absolute worst builds at the time. And at the time, there was some that weren't way great. One in particular was that I took AI Stability Engine, built it for no rate of fire, no damage, all accuracy. And then I had like the boomstick with double barrel on it, which is still a pretty bad overclock because that one hasn't been changed. But since then, the GK2 has been reworked entirely. It's far better than it was before. Just base kit, it's far better, but also all of its overclocks got a nice buff too. Some of them just got a buff because the GK2 itself got a buff. Other ones like AI Stability Engine did get buffed in general, and now I can't really find a terrible way to build it. I can find maybe a less optimal way to build it. And that's sort of what this stream ended up turning into, was basically just trying to make the least optimal build that I could for the class, because a lot of them I wasn't super disappointed in, which is weirdly kind of disappointing in and of itself. A lot of these worked just fine. Like I tried to make the worst autocannon and worst burst pistol build, where it was basically micro flechettes on the burst pistol built for nothing but a ton of bullets. And it was okay. It wasn't way great, but it was okay. I was kind of used to using this because I've made this build before. So it was super accurate to hit stuff. It just didn't do any damage. But I had so many bullets that I could just keep throwing them at it that it kind of worked. And the autocannon, I tried Carpet Bomber, just building it for AoE damage so that it was like a less optimal autocannon, basically. It had some single target damage and some AoE, but not as much AoE as I usually build on Carpet Bomber. And it still worked fine, because I basically just had a slightly nerfed autocannon overall, which is still really good. A similar thing happened to the Breach Cutter. I threw on roll control, because I know there's plenty of people that don't like roll control, even though it's not actually a nerf to the weapon. It just changes the weapon a little bit to where you can now spin your lasers. It was still fine because it still hit like the Breach Cutter. And there was plenty of other examples throughout this entire live stream where a lot of what I had was not particularly bad. In fact, I don't remember when it was. I was thinking of making a top 5, or I guess bottom 5, overclocks in Deep Rock Galactic. And even just coming up with 5 of them in the game is kind of difficult, and I didn't want to just include a bunch of clean overclocks that are like less optimal than other overclocks, because that would be pretty boring if just the worst overclocks are just simply not the best for it and still give you some sort of bonus. They would still be good weapons. And it kind of reflected in this live stream quite a bit, where everything was working fine. Yes, I was struggling more since we were playing all this on Has 5, so some of the missions were a little bit more difficult, but not massively more difficult. I do want to try doing an experiment similar to this, doing live streams, where I'm going to just be trying to take the base weapons, so no mods, no overclocks on them, which I have done in the past for certain videos, but those were more challenge videos, and I kind of want to see how they feel on Has 5. I feel like some of them are going to succeed pretty easily. Some of them are pretty strong, just base kit. Like, I imagine the Breach Cutter is going to do just fine on this. I'm just not going to have as much ammo, and that's going to be the major thing. But other weapons, I am kind of curious as to how they will function without any mods or overclocks, because I haven't ran them without mods or overclocks in quite a while, especially something like the GK2. I don't think I've played that without mods or overclocks since it's been changed. Maybe I did it once, but I don't recall that. So that'll be an interesting experiment too. And there is somewhat of a point to this video, and it's to ask you guys, what do you guys think is the worst build in the game for a particular class? What do you think is the least optimal, whatever that might mean to you? Whether it means not having enough ammo, whether that means not having enough damage, whether that means not particularly functioning well together, or just not being well built together. And to add on to that, could you also tell me one for each of the classes, what you think is the worst build for each of them? Because some of them became really difficult for me to actually point out. For example, Engineer was one of the ones that was difficult to point out because Engineer still felt fine. I was just usually running out of ammo a bit quick. And Driller just felt kind of weird because Driller's weapons are kind of weird. So everything that I had put on them was still okay, just not the usual way that I build it. I had to change playstyles basically for each of them, and then once I did that, they were still working okay, weirdly enough. So yeah, just a short little video today. Just wanted to get your thoughts on this new experiment and the experiment that we're going to be trying later. Maybe I will upload at least some of the parts of the non-overclock, non-mod builds that I'm just going to be playing with random people, because that's usually how the live streams go anyway. Thank you guys so very much for watching this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Tell me your thoughts down in the comments below. I'd love to hear them, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.